Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Moorhead police are investigating after a string of vandalism hit South Moorhead over the weekend. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with neighbors in the area who say they just hope it ends soon.
It all started late last week. Police responding to both Bellesley Boulevard and 9th Street South for apartment mailboxes pried open and tampered with. Apartment managers didn't want to talk with me on camera, but say the suspects forced open all the mailboxes at once without leaving much of a dent and ran off with almost everything inside tenants' boxes. Neighbors tell me it doesn't bother them much, saying if thieves want to steal and pay their bills, that's fine with them. But it didn't stop there. Moorhead police responding to 4 different vandal victims Saturday morning, all within just blocks of one another. 3 of those were again apartment complexes hit with forced open and empty mailboxes. But things were much different when officers showed up at the 400 block of Horn Avenue as vandals left a family's 2 trucks covered in neon racial slurs. They tell me it took over 4 hours to clean the paint and say they have no idea who would ever do something like this, saying as far as they're concerned, they have 0 enemies. In Moorhead, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Moorhead police say it's unclear if any of the incidents are related. They're asking neighbors in the area to check security cameras, and if there's any information to pass along, to give them a call at 218-299-5120. New for you now at 5. The Fargo City Commission is discussing whether it will move forward with Target's plans to sell liquor at its store in Fargo. On February 19th, the Fargo Liquor Control Committee said yes to the request from the Target store at 13th Avenue South. If the commission decides to move forward with the decision, a separate entrance would be part of the deal. We'll have much more on this story tonight on Valley News Live at 6. We're certainly enjoying this mild day, knowing that cooler air, however you want to call it, it's moving in. Let's find out about this evening with Hutch and your No Wait weather planner. Hutch?
Andrea, that's less warm air. I mean, I'll tell you what, it is on the way. And as we look at the Skycam now pointed off to the west-southwest of our studios here in South Fargo, we do see the clouds causing some unsettled weather in the central Dakotas. Low temperatures this morning were frosty and chilly. There was fog around the valley, but we warmed up once again to the 30s for many locations, while it snowed in southern and central parts of the Dakotas. Here is a look then at your temperatures as we headed to the evening. We are near 30 in Fargo as we've cooled off our high for the day, 32 in Valley City. And your planner showing temperatures will stay in the 20s. We'll have a north wind as we go through the overnight hours. And Andrea, that north wind is going to usher in the return of some wintry chill to the air. You could call it that as well. How long will this unbalmy weather last? I'll have details on how low we go, and we'll look ahead at what you can expect for the rest of the work week here in just a couple of moments.
All right. Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
The state of Minnesota has released its recommendation for reducing police-involved deadly force encounters. The group, led by Attorney General Keith Ellison, made 28 recommendations. They fall under the categories of healing and engagement, prevention and training, and investigations and accountability, among other topics.
Nobody got every single thing that they wanted, but we came together around some recommendations that we believe will preserve life, not only of community members, but of police officers too.
For more on this story, you can download the free Valley News Live app in the App Store and search for this story. The 5 people who fell 4 stories when a Grand Forks apartment balcony collapsed have filed a lawsuit against the building owner, contractors, and others involved with it. The incident happened in June of last year at EVI McEnroe Apartments, located in the 3000 block of Garden View Drive. The lawsuit alleges the apartment's balcony wasn't properly designed or inspected and asks for at least $50,000 in damages. Some of the people injured reportedly are suffering permanent injuries, according to the lawsuit. President Donald Trump received a huge welcome today as he began his first official visit to India. The first of 2 days there was more pageantry than policy. The marquee event was a rally staged by India's Prime Minister. The President and First Lady also took a sunset tour of the Taj Mahal. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell reports from New Delhi, India.
President Donald Trump.
President Trump has already wrapped up day 1 of his 2-day visit to India, and he described the welcome as something he and his family will remember all of their lives.
Namaste. Namaste.
The world's largest cricket stadium, newly constructed, was the venue where more than 110,000 people listened to the president and prime minister address the common bonds of the U.S. and India.
In just 70 years, India has become an economic giant, the largest democracy ever to exist, and one of the most amazing nations anywhere in the world.
This has been a national effort to set up a U.S.-India visit that would live with imagery and be one for the record books.
Prime Minister Modi and I will also discuss our efforts to expand the economic ties between our two countries.
Yes, they're talking about trade and defense and common issues, but there is no expectation of a big agreement coming out of this beyond the purchase of some U.S. military equipment. This is much more about the friendship and the symbolism of that relationship, which in and of itself is important to both leaders and their domestic politics. Tomorrow is more of the business side of this meeting as those negotiations and meetings continue.
Officials say the iconic postcard of this visit will be their picture in front of the Taj Mahal, an important piece of the tourism industry in India. The CDC has provided an update on its investigation into the coronavirus disease outbreak. According to the agency, there are now at least 53 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the U.S. The stock market has taken a hit, with the Dow Jones Industrial down more than 1,000 points. The Nasdaq and S&P are also lower, all due to increased fears over the global economic shock of coronavirus. Stocks are also plummeting in Europe and Asia. Travel-related stocks are taking the biggest hit, with Delta and American Airlines. The state of North Dakota says the flu vaccine has been less than 50% effective in the state so far this year. The overall effectiveness of the influenza vaccine is measured at 45%. This means that the vaccine reduced the risk of getting sick from the flu by less than half. This year, 144 children have died from the flu in the U.S. Many of the children who died were not vaccinated. As we get closer to spring, officials are reminding the public that conditions out on the ice are starting to change. Tri-State Diving had to pull this pickup out of the lake near Glenwood just a few days ago. The company says a father and son were driving on the lake when they got too close to thin ice by a river and fell through. The man and his son were able to get out safely before the truck completely went under. Tri-State Diving pulled the vehicle up 16 feet from the bottom. The Alpha Tau Omega fraternity and Kappa Delta sorority at NDSU are hosting their annual Freeze-a-thon fundraiser. The students are braving the outdoors for 120 hours, collecting donations for Down Home. That's an organization that helps the homeless population in our communities. They are located on the corner of 12th Avenue North and University Drive, the students that is, and also at the south entrance to NDSU's Memorial Union.
Doing something bigger than yourself and really helping someone. We may not be able to meet all the families that we impact, but just being able to stand out here for a few hours a day, or I guess for 120 hours, we're able to impact someone for a lifetime.
This year's goal is $25,000, and all of it would go to Down Home. Tens of thousands are gathered in Los Angeles to say goodbye to NBA legend Kobe Bryant and his daughter. There were long lines outside the Staples Center where Bryant played and where his memorial took place. Bryant and Gianna were killed along with 7 other people in a helicopter crash in California on January 26th. Kobe Bryant's wife has also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the company that owned the helicopter that crashed. A pioneering NASA mathematician who helped send Americans into space has died. Katherine Johnson was one of 3 African-American female aerospace workers whose stories were brought to light in the book and movie Hidden Figures. Johnson did trajectory analysis for America's first human spaceflight, Alan Shepard's Freedom 7 mission.